Hello, my name is Michael. A few years ago, my life took an unexpected turn, filled with all kinds of ups and downs, but let me tell you, it turned out for the best. Things were cruising along just fine until that one night, which changed everything. As a kid in a cozy Midwestern town, I was lucky to have a tight-knit crew around me, which included my parents, Mark and Lisa, and my little sister, Madeline. My mom, Lisa, was the heart of it all. She was there for me from day one, cheering me on and fueling my love for art and design with her endless support and encouragement. As a child, I was always drawn towards art and spent countless hours doodling and sketching. Mom recognized my talent and provided me with all the things that I needed to explore my creativity further. She was always there, backing me up and pushing me to chase my dreams, and she never held back when it came to cheering me on. My father, Mark, on the other hand, was supportive too, but he had reservations about my passion for art and design. While he was okay with it being a hobby, he did not think it was a practical career option. He believed that it was a risky path to take and that I needed to opt for a safer option to run a household. Even though my dad had his worries, I stayed dead set on making my passion my full-time thing. But Mom had my back through it all and hooked me up with what I needed to make it happen. Honestly, without her pushing me forward, I might not have had the guts to chase those dreams. Once I figured out I was really into graphic design, I went for it and made it my major at the University of Minnesota. The classes I attended there were packed with stuff to learn, with tons of hands-on projects and all sorts of design tricks and tips. They really helped me to sharpen my skills and pay attention to the nitty-gritty details. After I graduated, I made this big move to New York. That was where I scored my dream job as a graphic designer at this awesome creative agency. The hustle and bustle of the city, along with all the crazy projects that came my way, had always kept me looking for fresh ideas and trends to play around with in my designs. The agency I was accepted at was pretty top-notch and specialized in graphic design and branding. They were especially known for whipping up dynamic and out-of-the-box designs. They tackled everything from logos and packaging to digital and print ads. With a bunch of skilled designers and branding pros, they were always on the ball with the latest trends and tech and made sure clients got nothing but the best. I have always had this competitive streak in me, and I knew that I would thrive in a competitive work environment as well. The day I joined was hands down the happiest. Their vibe was just something else. It was a mix of diverse and crazy talented folks, all jazzed about their work and dead set on smashing out killer results. The teamwork and creative buzz got me all pumped up and left me feeling inspired. Being part of that incredible team was a total game changer. So for the next couple of years, things were pretty regular. I had my typical 9-5 grind and all the craziness that came with life, but I had absolutely no clue what was coming next. Little did I know that a whole bunch of stuff was about to go down and totally shake up my world. The days ahead were a total mystery, and I had zero clue how they would flip my life upside down. It was one of those chilly nights where you gotta bundle up tight, tucking your arms into your jacket for warmth. I had just returned from this party and was still feeling the vibe of laughter and the taste of that cheap beer, which still hung around in my mouth. I took a stroll down this quiet street, made a turn, and then bam, there it was, this really fancy red car. But the way it was parked caught my attention, with its wheels all wonky and twisted like it was parked in a rush. So I inched closer, and that was when I spotted her, my boss, the project manager, slouched in the driver's seat and swallowed by the darkness. Seeing her silhouette like that caught me off guard. I stood there for a second, frozen, not knowing what the heck to do next. Alisa and I were on different teams and levels at work. She had this higher up position while I was kind of lower down the ladder. But thanks to the projects on the table, I had to tag along to all these meetings, which meant I ended up rubbing shoulders with her quite a bit at that time. In those meetings, we had some chats and kind of got to know each other better. Even though our ranks differed, she always treated me with respect and professionalism, which made working and talking with her quite an easy task. Now seeing her there, I was very confused and concerned as to how she had ended up sleeping in her car in this part of the neighborhood, especially at this time of the night. I assumed that she must have just dozed off while waiting for someone or something. But then, safety-wise, it got me worried because this part of the town had a reputation for sketchy stuff, and it wasn't exactly the safest spot for someone, especially a lady, to be caught dozing off in her car. I had debated for a bit whether to shake her awake or not, but in the end, I figured it was the right call. I gave her car window a gentle knock, trying not to freak her out when she woke up. She suddenly blinked awake, looking a bit surprised but not scared. When she spotted me, her face lit up with recognition. She seemed a tad flustered to find me next to her car, but she got herself together pretty quickly. After a moment of silence, she rolled down the window. "Hi, Michael. What are you doing here?" "Hey, Alisa. I just wanted to give you a heads up. I was passing by and noticed you dozing off in your car. This neighborhood isn't the safest spot for that. It would be better if you headed home. Things can get pretty sketchy around here at night." "Oh, right. I actually fell asleep. Do you mind if I ask why you were crashing into your car? Just curious." There was a moment of silence and awkwardness between us, and then Alisa spoke with a bit of embarrassment. She hesitated, then confessed. "The money has been tight lately, and I couldn't swing the rent. Today I was told to vacate the apartment and had no place to go, so now I am just kind of couch surfing on 4 wheels. I know, tough times, but I'm figuring it out." I felt a mix of sympathy and shock wash over me, and without a second thought, I invited her to stay at my house. It was the least I could do for someone in need. "How about crashing at my place for a while? I would be thrilled to have you over and make you feel at home." "Really?" "Yeah, no worries at all. Feel free to crash at my spot until you sort things out. Besides, this neighborhood is so fishy that the last thing you should do is stay here in your car." "Oh, I had no clue. I thought it seemed okay, so I just parked here without realizing it could be dodgy." "It's all right. Let's get out of here for now." We kept chatting for a bit more, and then I hopped into her car and guided her to my place. My home was not that fancy or anything, especially considering how crazy expensive rent was in New York. I never even expected it to be top-notch. But I was cool with my modest one-bedroom place, because I had literally snatched it for a steal at $1,800. Sure, it was not that flashy and all, but it was cozy and safe, and that was all I needed. Just make yourself at home, and if there is anything you need at all, don't hesitate to ask, okay? "Thank you so much, Michael. You have really saved my day. I owe you big time, and I promise I'll make it up to you someday." "No worries, Alisa. Seriously, there is no need for that." As soon as we had reached my apartment, I welcomed her in and showed her around the place. I quickly gave her the grand tour and pointed out all the important stuff and amenities, just in case she needed anything. After that, I let her freshen up, and while she was doing that, I set up the sofa bed for her and made sure it was extra comfy for a good night's sleep. Once everything was set, I headed to my room and called it a night. Over the next few days, things started to shift between us. The whole boss-worker dynamic became more relaxed, and we had gotten much closer. Our conversations often shifted from work stuff to more personal topics as well. It was like the walls of formality had come down, and we had started to be our true selves around each other. When I first met Alisa, I was blown away by her. I had this whole big image of her as an amazing manager, with this natural talent that was just unmatched, and she also kept proving it over and over again. But as I got to know her better, I realized there was way more to her than what meets the eye. As time passed, she started acting kind of strange. I had this feeling she was up to something, but I was just not able to quite figure it out. And then there were these subtle advances that I kept brushing off. But now they had piled up so much that it was tough to just let them slide. It was Saturday night, and Alisa had been crashing at my place for the past 3 days. We were just chilling on the sofa, having this laid-back chat that covered everything from current events to our interests. Time totally slipped away as we kept talking for hours, too engrossed in the conversation. We have picked the design for the article, and the final decision is coming in tomorrow. Fingers crossed. Awesome. So we are past the critical stage now. That's a relief. Absolutely. Such a big relief, right? Totally. I worked my head off last week. Alisa didn't respond to me this time and stared off into the distance, lost in thought. What happened, Alisa? Michael, can I ask you for a favor? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. She suddenly held my hand and squeezed it tight. I retreated a bit upon this action of hers. Please don't tell anyone about my situation, okay? I trusted you and disclosed my financial troubles and burdens, but I don't want anyone else to know about it. This should stay between us, okay? Don't worry, Alisa. Your secret is safe with me. I understand you have your reputation to think about. You can count on me to keep quiet about it. Michael, you are amazing. Seriously, you are a gem of a person. I owe you big time for this. Thank you so much. No worries. Alisa, I understand life is full of ups and downs and there is only so much we can do. I am so grateful for your support. As we were chatting peacefully, out of nowhere, there was this loud crash of glass shattering. It echoed through the room, and we both snapped our heads in that direction. The noise had caught us both off guard, and we were left scratching our heads, trying to figure out what had gone down. My heart was pounding like crazy as I shot up from the sofa, and the sound of the glass breaking was still ringing in my ears. I had jumped off the couch and was dashing across the room toward the window, with Alisa right there beside me. The noise had come from the street below, and since I was on the second floor, it had echoed loudly throughout my apartment. What I had spotted on the road at that time had left me speechless. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that the front passenger window of Alisa's car was smashed and someone was trying to break in. And when I had a look at Alisa, she was already looking at me with a weird face. I thought she was freaked out cause the scene in front of my eyes had totally freaked me out, and so without missing a beat, I sprang into action. I hurried through the apartment, hoping to catch the thief red-handed or at least scare them off. As I got closer to the car, the intruder spotted me and ran away. I had this urge to chase after the guy, but then I realized he was way too far gone for me to catch up. Alisa had been running right behind me, and when I glanced back, she stood near her car, completely stunned, or so I thought. It was obvious someone had already called the cops. I figured I had seen fear on her face before, but I was so wrong. Once the sirens kicked in, her face went blank, and that was when she really froze. I went near her car, looked closer, and noticed a piece of paper lying on the seat. It was a chit with a note on it that read, "I told you I would find you. Here's the address XXXX. You know what to do." The words were scrawled in messy handwriting, and the note had a sinister tone to it. Alisa was frozen in fear with her face still as a wax model, unable to respond. I was equally confused as to what was happening and decided to remain silent, not wanting to make things worse for her. As the sirens grew louder and the cops arrived, Alisa suddenly snapped out of her trance and pleaded with me not to tell the cops about the note. I was so puzzled by her words, but I agreed not to. Once the cops had shown up, they grilled us about the whole thing. They wanted to know everything: our names, where we lived, and how to reach us. They scribbled down all the details we spilled about what went down and all. And when they were done with their Q&A, they bounced back and told us to ring up for a patrol car to keep an eye on the place for our safety. Alisa and I had finally returned to the apartment. As we walked in, I couldn't help but notice the tension in her body and the uneasiness that lined her face. I knew something was wrong, but I did not want to push her to speak up. We sat down on the couch, and I could see she was deep in thought. I waited patiently, hoping that she would tell me what had happened. After a few minutes of silence, she suddenly spoke up. Her voice was low and shaky, and it was clear that the incident had left her shaken. "I am sorry I lied to you." "What?" I had no clue what that was about. "Michael, I gotta admit something. I'm sorry, but I have not been totally honest with you. This thing is not just about money. There is more to the story." I listened to everything she said without interrupting. "Listen, I need to tell you why I have been crashing in my car for the past week. The truth is, I have been dealing with some heavy personal stuff. I did not want to dump it all on you, which is why I kept it under wraps. I figured I needed some breathing room to sort things out, but now it has gotten way out of hand and I could really use your help. Please." Hey, take a breath, okay? And can you fill me in on what is going down? If I am in the dark, I cannot be of much help to you. If I tell you the truth, do you promise to help me out? Yes, I will try my best. It has been pretty rough lately. I have been dealing with a stalker for the past month. It all kicked off with this mysterious note that was left on my desk at work. At first, I just brushed it off as some dumb prank, but things went south real quick. The notes kept coming, getting more threatening each time, and I felt like I was being watched all the time. I became paranoid as hell. Then one day, when I came home, I found my front door cracked open. My heart was pounding like anything. I crept inside, only to find a note and a teddy bear with its head chopped off and stained red. I had no idea if it was blood, but it looked fresh. I was freaked out. I searched the whole place, but the creep was gone. When I checked the note, it demanded cash. And the thing is, as I have already told you, I am broke as a joke and I can't even afford to renew my lease. So I crashed in my car because I had nowhere else to go and I was afraid to stay at my apartment. I was scared to go to the police because I was worried it would make things worse. I was lost and had no idea how to keep safe from this psycho. Then you offered me your place that night like a guardian angel, so I accepted it. I will never forget how kind you were that night. When Alisa hit me with that bombshell, I was completely caught off guard, trying to process it all. I couldn't help but wonder how the heck this intruder got to her. Another thing bugging me was why she was so broke, being a project manager and all. But I decided it wasn't the moment to grill her about it, seeing as she was already on edge. Alisa, I can tell that this situation might be sketchy, but bottling it all up without seeking help is not cool. You should have reached out for help. I had no idea what to do. I was so scared the whole time. It is all right. Don't panic at the moment. Just get some sleep. We will talk about this first thing in the morning. You are safe here, okay? No one will come here. After that, I sat with Alisa for a bit and comforted her until she stopped crying. It took a while, but she finally got herself together and regained her cool. I just kept assuring her that everything would be fine and that I had her back no matter what. Then, after a few minutes, she seemed to chill out and dozed off. The next morning, we talked about how to handle the stalker situation. We thought through each option really carefully and weighed the good and bad before making any decisions. It was a heavy convo, but we were dead set on doing whatever it took to keep Alisa safe. Okay, so what do you want me to do? Do you want me to reach out to the police? No, please. I am afraid the matter will worsen. It would not, Alisa. Don't be afraid, okay? You have done nothing wrong. I know. But please, I am requesting you. Please, don't report this to the police. Okay, then what else do you want me to do? Alisa stayed silent for a moment. Alisa, please speak up. I would not be able to help you if you don't say anything. Can you please pay the stalker? I know it is a pretty big request, but I would have never asked you if I had the money myself. It is just that I am totally out of cash right now, so I have no other option. Can I ask what went down? I mean, you've got a pretty big role in the company, so why the financial squeeze? I had actually invested all my cash into a startup recently, but it flopped big time, and I ended up broke with a bunch of creditors breathing down my neck. Now, every paycheck I get goes straight to them. I barely have enough to scrape by for now. At that time, her explanations didn't feel true to me. It was then that I started to doubt her greatly, but I chose to overlook it because I believed she was truly in trouble. How much has the stalker demanded? $10,000. I was shocked by the amount I heard. I had no clue what to do, but seeing Alisa like that, I decided to just give away some of my savings for now. Can you lend me the money? I will repay you afterward. Please, I promise. Okay, I'll lend you the money. Thank you so much, Michael. I have no words. Thank you. We will head to the address the stalker mentioned in a couple of days, all right? Until then, make sure you keep yourself safe. I had not given the money to Alisa yet. For some reason, I had a really bad feeling about it all, so I decided to dig deeper without letting her know. After weighing my options, I realized the best move was to seek help from someone with police connections. That was when I remembered my sister, Madeline. Her father-in-law was the police chief, which made her the ideal person to help me out. With her connections, I could fix the problem fast and easily. Without wasting any time, I got in touch with her and explained my situation. Hello, brother. What reminded you of me today? Funny, Madeline. I call you every day. I will just cut to the chase today. I told Madeline everything about the incident, giving all the details. I could hear her shock and disbelief as I talked. Even though she was surprised at first, she understood and felt sorry for my boss in the situation she was in. Then I asked her to patch me through to Cody because I needed to fill him in completely. When Cody got on the line, I walked him through everything that had happened, making sure he got the whole picture. I wanted him to understand why it was so important for us to do something about it. That's quite a dangerous and sketchy situation, man. I will talk this out with Dad urgently and let you know. Okay, thanks, man. It's all right. Also, it would be best if you could provide me with a pic of that note. Okay, I'll send it to you right away. Meanwhile, Alisa was getting impatient and was constantly asking me about the money and when we would meet the stalker to settle everything with him. I kept putting her off by making excuses all the time. After a couple of days, Cody gave me an update on what had been happening. He told me he had talked to his dad, who had acted quickly and quietly. The cops had gone back to the scene and had done a more thorough check of the car, undercover, and they had found fingerprints. They had checked the dash cam as well, which was working fine. Cody also said that the stalker had left behind clues, showing that he wasn't very careful and would not be able to get away from the cops for long. Then at night, I received an urgent call from Cody, once again. "Yes, Cody, what's the update? Alisa is faking it all." "What?" "Yes, Michael, she is totally faking it. The stalker is her boyfriend, and they are on it together. The cops caught on to the stalker and have been trailing him. Alisa was spotted with him last night, having some serious talk. After digging deeper, we found out that he was actually her boyfriend. And what's bothering me the most is that these people are masterminds. That night, she didn't meet you coincidentally. Your whereabouts, your daily route, everything was monitored by them. It is ridiculous." I was speechless. I sensed something was off, but this was beyond what I could have ever imagined. "Michael, I strongly advise you to stay safe. He hasn't been caught yet, and we are clueless about their next move." "Okay, Cody, I'll be careful. Dude, can I just hit you up in a bit?" While I was chatting with Cody, Alisa had stepped out of the apartment. After thinking about the situation again and again, I decided to play it safe and hide a little camera in the living room, just in case. I swiftly went through my stuff and found a small camera. I tucked it away on the shelf before Alisa returned home. After a while, the doorbell rang. I knew it was Alisa. She entered, and after the usual small talk, she brought up the money thing again. "Michael, when do you think we can wrap everything up? I don't want to keep burdening you. You have already helped me so much." "I'm sorry, Alisa, but I cannot help you with the money anymore." "What? Why? What happened? I thought you were ready to help me." "I was, but I changed my mind. I can't help you now." "Why? Do you know something, Michael?" "What do you mean?" "You know it, right? Don't be pretentious now. I couldn't keep it in and just spilled it all at once." "Yeah, I know. I know you have been lying to me this whole time. It is all a lie, isn't it? Your financial situation, the stalker, everything is a lie, right? Why did you do this to me, Alisa? Did you really think I wouldn't figure it out?" She suddenly laughed weirdly. "Michael, you are too trusting. I knew you would believe me, and that's why I did it. Now, you are trapped. You have to give me that amount or else." "Ha. In your dreams, Alisa. Either you give me that money, or I will submit a report to our boss tomorrow morning." "What report?" "A report detailing how Michael Stern has forced me to stay at his apartment for the past week and how he has been troubling me all along." I was shaken and speechless by her words, but then I remembered the hidden camera. I thanked the stars. Now, I had everything recorded and was on the safe side. "You can do whatever you want, Alisa. But the money? Nah, you are not getting it." "Michael, you are messing up big time, buddy. Just give me the cash, and everything will be cool. You have no proof to make me look bad. No one is going to buy your story." "That's my problem. I'll see to it. Just wait and watch, Michael. You have no idea what I'm capable of. I'll let time figure this out, Alisa. Now, get out of my house." Alisa left my place, throwing threats left and right, but I brushed them off. I decided to beat her to the punch and email my boss before she could. I grabbed my camera from the shelf and quickly retrieved the video of Alisa's threats. I sent a copy of that video to Cody and the other one to the CEO of our company, along with a perfectly framed message. The next day at work, the CEO called me in for a chat. I laid out the whole situation in front of him, and he promised full support. Before I knew it, Alisa got fired from her job, and her face was the one to look at. I expected Alisa to feel embarrassed after getting fired, but she became even more aggressive and showed no remorse for her actions. To top it off, she even dared to threaten the CEO. Her behavior was totally unacceptable, and as a result, legal action was taken against her. Fortunately, after a tense and anxious week or two, the police finally caught the stalker. The video I had sent to Cody had acted as the perfect proof and was enough to put Alisa and her stalker through legal action. They were booked under the charges of fraudulent activities and are now serving for their actions. Once everything was sorted out, I made sure to thank Madeline, Cody, and Cody's dad for having my back through it all. I let them know how much their support had meant to me and how it had helped me get through the rough patches. For the past couple of weeks, my life has been a total mess with everything all over the place. It had been chaotic, stressful, and downright disruptive, and it was unlike anything I had ever faced before. Now, I don't want to come off as insensitive, but I gotta admit, there was a bit of an adrenaline rush in it all. But finally, as things started to calm down, I was relieved to get back to my regular routine. Just when I thought things were getting back to normal, bam, I got an email that flipped everything upside down. They were announcing my promotion to the cool title of project manager at the agency. I was over the moon and couldn't believe my luck. It was like a dream come true. I remember chatting with HR about wanting to be a project manager, but I never thought it would happen so soon. It turns out they thought I was the perfect fit for the job and had been considering promoting me for a while. And now, with the spot open, it was the only right move to make. I was just really thankful for the opportunity. As I settled into my new role, I looked back on the events of the past month and realized how life had rewarded me after all the chaos.